This conference will now be recorded.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Carly, one of the moderators tonight, and Dan and Jen.
I'm Dan. This is Jennifer. And hello again to Frank and Kim and Randy. So great to see you. And Gail, so great to see you too. And let's see, Randy and Allison, looks like both of your mics are still muted. You know, if
Can you hear me now?
totally.
How are you guys?
Awesome. Very
Hey,
cool.
Hi, Gary.
Hello?
Okay. Gail, yes.
Okay, great.
Nice. Well, thank you all for joining us. I think this is truly, for everybody that's new coming on here, this really is just like a free for all. We're just talking MS and just really just dealing with like life as we know it, and just like really, and then it becomes more like, you showed up tonight, so then it becomes like, well, what do you want to talk about, and or what's on your minds? I think just really we'll go through really quick just to introduce ourselves for those who don't know. I'm Dan Digman. I've had MS for since 2000, February 2000, and I'm taking the beta seron, and I'm married to her.
And hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Digman, and I've been diagnosed with MS for a really long time, since 1997, and I'm taking the Rituxan.
And we live in Michigan. And I turn it over to our fellow Gander and moderator, Carly.
Hi, Carly, diagnosed in 2011, and I am on since 2012.
Wow. So now we'll just go across the board right there. Randy, talk to us.
All right, so I'm Randy. I am in Maryland, here on the East Coast, and I was diagnosed in November of 2012, and I've been on Gilenya since the following February. So it's been about 7 years on Gilenya for me.
Wow, nice. How about you, Kim?
My name is Kim. I live in Des Moines, Iowa. I was diagnosed a month before Randy, October 2012. I'm currently on Ocrevus. And Kim, who is with you? This is my cat, Betty. She never does this with me. She just does this when I'm busy. She's 15.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, nice to meet her.
Nice to meet you. Gail, how about you?
Hi, nice to be with everybody tonight. I found out that I have MS just recently, last fall, actually. So It's been a relatively new thing for me after a couple of years of undiagnosed symptoms. Grateful to finally get a diagnosis and find out what this weird thing was. And then my doctor wanted me to start Ocrevus. And last time I was with you all, I mentioned that I had shingles during the time, right around the time I was diagnosed. And because of that, my doctor postponed my Ocrevus starting until I could have the shingles vaccine and shingles booster, which I now have had. So I'm supposed to start Ocrevus on April 3rd. But with the coronavirus, that, that's a question I have for tonight, actually, is just the immunosuppressive nature of either MS or MS drugs. I'm not sure which one it is, but I'm just trying to learn that from you all tonight. So, and I live in Texas. So.
Nice. And then down at the bottom, Frank, talk to us. Who are you? Where are you from?
Hey, my name's Frank Lawson. I'm from Kansas. I was diagnosed with MS in, well, to be exact, May 15th, 1997. I'm just a happy guy. What can I say?
That's what it's all about, right?
That's all it's about.
Yeah.
And Allison, I see the mic's off, so talk to us. Where are you from? Maybe she's not.
I have a feeling that Alison's mic isn't, her mic isn't picking up on her computer.
Okay.
So, Alison, you may want to call in just on your phone. You can do that.
Headphones might work for her.
Yeah.
Headphones might work in the computer.
Sorry, say that again, Carly.
Headphones. If she's at a computer and not just calling in, she could try that.
Okay. So then, do we have the number? Do we have the number handy? Yes, I have the number handy. We can give it to you. So the number to call in is 646-749-3129. And I'm going to put this, here's what I'm going to do. I'm putting it in the chat window right now for you. 646-749-3129. And then the room number is 222-583-973. Okay, so I'm sending that out. I'll send it to everybody. Why not? So it's right there in the chat window. Try us. There's something that's not working between your mic and your and the GoToMeeting. So, okay, I'm getting off. Goodbye.
Thanks, Rick.
Bye. Okay.
So you raised a great question, Gail, because I think that's when we were coming on, we're just thinking, what will we talk about? And I think that's kind of the big thing on everybody's mind. And I know that we see things, when they talk like multiple sclerosis and the coronavirus and suppressed immune systems and things like that. Initially, I'm thinking, well, I have MS and my immune system is pretty aggressive, right? I mean, it's attacking myself. And so, but then I've seen the reports as far as like, depending on what kind of disease modifying therapy you're on is, and I thought that's with, we were talking earlier, like with the Ocrevus, with like for Carly and Jennifer's on the Rituxan. So that's like immunosuppressant. And I really it all comes down to like, what does your doctor say, or, what are they? Are they telling you to delay? Because you said April 2nd, and Carly, aren't you set to, you said you're,
I'm April 2nd and Gail is the 3rd.
Yeah.
okay, so right.
Right.
My MS nurse, I was going to that MS camp that I had, that we had 2 sessions and then they've canceled it because of everything. I asked her this question because I was confused, like, are we immunocompromised or not? I'm so confused. And this is how she said it to me. She's like, okay, so we're like the opposite of AIDS patients. AIDS patients have no immune system. They just get sick off of anything and everything. We're the opposite, where our system is in like overdrive. We're always ramped up. And so that's how she kind of said it. And it talked about certain drugs that would make you immunocompromised. So to answer Gail's question, the actual Ocrevus is not an immunosuppressant, but the methylprednisolone that you're getting, your Solumedrol, the steroid, that is immunosuppressant.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Because you're on the steroid. So to answer that question, so they may want to delay you because you're getting a high dose of that steroid. I think it's 250 milligrams of Solumedrol.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
It's still like compared to like a Medrol dose pack that you get over 6 days orally, which is like 84 milligrams, 250 million, so. But that's how she explained it to me, because I'm like, I am so confused. Am I immunocompromised or not? And so she explained, like, okay, I get it. But she said, then the problem with the MS is that if you do get in a spin, then I'll throw you into a flare and things like that. So you're more likely to get a flare if you get sick. Things like that.
So the major reason for them wanting to keep me on mine, though, is because it's part of the trial. So they want to make sure I'm staying. So as long as I'm healthy, I'm still going in.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of
people don't like
Yeah.
Just be extra careful
Yeah. And
during
this,
that week or so that you still have that Solumedrol in your system.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
and I was telling Dan and Jennifer when we first came on, I've been working from home for over a week now. So, and my husband works at a grocery store, so I don't have to go grocery shopping, thankfully.
So you know
Just
when he
take-
reloads toilet paper and stuff.
No, they were calling that white gold. Nobody could get it.
Right?
Wow.
I just want to interrupt for a second, Jordan or Allison. I see you're on there. There we go. Okay, cool. Hi, it's good to see you. Where are you from?
Hi, I'm from Hillsboro, Oregon, and I'm in physical therapy school. So one of our assignments is to do a support group, and because of the coronavirus, I was unable to actually go do one in person. So I found this website and thought, hopefully it's okay with you guys if I join along with you. all.
If
And
you're ready to observe, this is
yeah,
awesome. Yes, very cool.
Welcome.
yeah.
Yeah. So and I just want to comment once and then I'll stop. But it's like, okay, so with the black in my sleeve and then the black up the fireplace, doesn't it look like Jennifer and I are like split screens?
Yes.
That's it. Are you okay over there?
I am.
So yeah, so that's it. But yeah, I mean, and I told Jennifer I don't want to cheapen things or anything, but I was just like thinking, do you guys remember what it was like back in the day when all we had to worry about was multiple sclerosis and how easy that was? I mean,
Yeah.
now just with everything with the coronavirus, I mean, because that's where fortunately I work remotely, so that nothing's changed for me. But at the same time, it's just like all the restaurants in town are closed, and the governor yesterday issued the stay at home edict for like 3 weeks, so like nobody's going out, and so this is our life.
Yeah.
Who else's state did that as well? Iowa does not. Our mayor in Des Moines stay home, but our governor has not issued the shelter at place is the terminology.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our schools are closed for the rest of the year, but that's basically it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Our grocery store won't let anybody in right now. You have to call an order and they'll meet you at the
Oh,
door.
wow.
Wow. Oh.
Here in
I've
Maryland,
never heard anybody do that. Yeah.
yeah, that's the first I've heard of that too. Here in Maryland, Governor Hogan won't call it a stay-at-home order, but it's basically the same rules as other states, to where like he doesn't want you to go out, but like all the essential businesses are still open. But he urges everybody to stay home. But
Wow. Yeah. How about Texas?
We just got a Harris County stay-at-home order. So just in our county, similar to Randy, where the essential businesses are still staying open. We can still go to the grocery store and all of that, but we're just encouraged to stay home. So.
And being relatively newly diagnosed as you are, Gail, is this making you more nervous, or how are you handling this?
I'm trying to take precautions like everyone else, and I'm grateful I can work from home and be at home like I usually am. So my mother is part of what I do. I generally go to take care of some things for her in memory care, and we're not allowed to go to her memory care at all, which I think is pretty typical for nursing homes or any kind of elderly care, even all the way up to independent living. They're discouraging visitors, more than discouraging. They're not allowing any visitors, for which I'm grateful that they're being cautious as they are.
Yeah. I have, because to any of you that don't know, I'm not working and I'm not walking, and I have a caregiver during the day so that Dan can continue taking care of me. So under my own kind of scaredness, yesterday I told my caregiver, I'm like, just for a couple of weeks, stay home, and it was before the governor issued the stay-at-home warning. But Dan and I just were a little uncomfortable knowing that my caregiver is going out and about in the community, and we're trying to stay at home and be vigilant. And it's nothing against her, but I was like, yeah, I don't know if I really want somebody who's got to be like, who's been out and about.
Well, and it takes as far as the social distancing and stuff. I mean, that she's, cooking our food and cleaning our house and, up in Jennifer's personal business and stuff. And then, yeah, and I mean, I realize that it's just something that you just don't want to take a chance on. I mean, just because so much is still unknown, you're just like, let's just stop for a second. And oh, in our
If you
church,
don't,
I don't get up and go to church now on Sunday. So
Yeah.
We
I don't
watch.
know if anybody else is feeling like that, where it's just like, I really don't want anyone near me. I mean, obviously, Dan, there's no social distance. For the rest of the general public, I'm like, keep your distance, please.
yeah.
I've been involved in a study with my urologist. So I've been going downtown for 10 days for this therapy that is kind of a magnetic therapy. And she's trying to reorganize some things in my brain to try to stave off some more urinary problems down the road. So that's been interesting because in the course of the 10 days, it was going from coronavirus is out there somewhere to when I went on Friday, they were taking temperatures of everyone that was entering the hospital and asking questions from a distance, and then the hospital was really very empty by Friday. So I go tomorrow actually for the last session of this therapy, and then I'm meeting with my MS doctor. But it's interesting in 2 weeks' time how things have radically changed. But I'm downtown in the medical center of Houston to finish this therapy, so I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do it, but I'm really going to be glad that it's done. Yeah.
That sounds like interesting. Is it like research or the magnetic it's therapy? Do you mind talking more about it?
No, I'm happy to, as much as I can understand it. I'm not a medical person myself, but my neurologist was the one that referred me to this urologist who has an interest in neurological problems as related to urology. So that's how we got started. So she's doing this research study herself, and she was looking for a female. She was looking for a female with MS, and she was looking for a female with MS that had these particular kinds of urinary problems. So I fell right in her strata of who she was looking for. So anyway, I felt I was very thankful for the opportunity if it can prevent having to do some things later on that I really would rather not. So anyway, that's how I got involved.
Let's see. Yeah, it's very interesting.
But it's a magnetic approach. I guess it has been used in depression for certain people, but this actually started with an MRI, with a 7 Tesla MRI, which I don't think there's very many of those in the world, but it's a specialized MRI that actually kind of maps the portions of my brain that have to do with urinary function. And so once they mapped that, then they made a what looked to me like a swimmer's cap that they fit on me every time I had therapy. So I'd go into the hospital and they would fit this cap on. It looked like I had 5 curlers on the cap. It's a black cap and white curlers. So but this was putting on my curlers anyway. But anyway, that was attached to this machine, and so for 50 minutes I had this magnetic therapy that's supposed to reorganize or recalibrate the brain somehow. So we'll see if it actually did any good. I mean, I'm 6 of 8 subjects. And so my husband loves Star Trek, and so he called me 6 of 8. So,
Great.
anyway, yeah.
So
I was on a 7 Tesla. I did a 7 Tesla MRI in August at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, when you go in, so what they did for us is like you had to sit down and they had these goggles on your face to have like your eye movement, what your baseline was, and then they put you in and they're like, okay, everything's gonna go really wonky, you're gonna get dizzy, let us know when it passes, and then but it's a lot like an MRI, but it's also a little bit different. And then you get out, they like make sure that you sit down and you get back down to baseline before they let you start walking.
Mm-hmm.
But you will definitely notice a difference where you're like, I feel a little different, not in a bad way. But
Wow.
Yeah, mine was a little different than that. I don't remember those kinds of sensations, but they actually project a window because I'm a little claustrophobic. So I'm very happy in any other MRI to have my eyes closed, and I don't even try to open them because I think I would panic potentially. But in this kind of MRI, you have to keep your eyes open because there's a screen that will give you direction as to what to do, because at this time there's catheters inserted and all that. So the directions are projected up on the screen, so you have to keep your eyes open to see what it says to do. And I was nervous about that, but they have designed it in such a way that you can actually, when you're looking at it, it looks like a window out of the MRI machine. And it's so, I mean, you have to kind of tell yourself to see what you're seeing, but it looked like there was a window outside. So
oh my goodness, was it like a really long MRI?
I'm sorry.
Was it a long time? Were you in there for like an hour?
Oh
About
God.
But
How do I get out of this?
I'm sorry.
Oh, oh dear.
We had someone join us.
I'm
Maria?
sorry. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. I'm getting ready for another session this week. Sorry. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Good luck.
You too.
How do I get out of it?
So did you say that you were in the MRI for about an hour?
Oh yes, I was there for about an hour, and it was fine. I actually was so comfortable, I went to sleep. My husband couldn't believe I went to sleep in this really fancy MRI machine, but I was comfortable, and because of some certain conditions that I have with my particular case, it didn't really matter actually. But tomorrow, I hope not to fall asleep. So anyway, but it was reassuring to me that I could be a part of that kind of an MRI machine and not panic because I had to keep my eyes open. But they designed it in a very user-friendly way. I was thankful for that.
Yeah, I understand.
So other than the coronavirus, how's everybody doing?
Good. Actually, one thing I'll point out there, coronavirus wise, if you guys are on Twitter, Dan and Jen, I know you guys are, but there's a hashtag called MSCovid-19 that actually a lot of neurologists from around the world are using, and they're actually reporting their cases and how they're doing. So it's actually a really informative hashtag to put out there. So like you can see different MS patients that are on the different medications that have it. And, you know, the good news is, or the reassuring thing is, at least for me being on Gilenya, is that, you know, everybody seems to be doing well from the ones that have been reported so far. But it is interesting. And even over in the UK, they have like almost like a register, and they're just reporting and updating daily. And you can just see the different neurologists reporting like their patients and things like that, which is really, really neat to see.
What was the hashtag on that, Randy?
It
Can you
was
type
MS.
that in the box?
Yeah,
please?
let me do that right now.
That'd be awesome.
Because I mean, it is. It's just like, I think that's the comforting thing. It's just like on Twitter, on Facebook, just that there's so much activity related to MS and the coronavirus and stuff,
Right.
just to help keep us all. I think that it's the I don't know if y'all have seen it. I believe it's like the MS Foundation, I believe, has something coming up on Friday. I'll look and see, but I mean, just as far as those, what'd you guys talk about? And this will be like to plug for Must Stop MS. That I mean, what'd you talk about? I mean, was that part of the chat for you guys on was Monday, right, Randy?
Yeah, this week, I want to say, well, last week, I guess we talked a lot about that. And normally when we do our chats, we just limit it to an hour. But one thing that came out of that is a lot of people are nervous right now, right? So a lot of people are nervous. So we just kept it going. I think we ended up going like an hour and a half, a little bit longer than that last week. And a lot of people want the communication, right, and the reassurance. So I think you're seeing a lot of people do video sessions like this. Like I know you guys have been doing this for a while now. But a lot of people are looking for that information, which is really, really neat to see, like everybody jumping on these video platforms.
Yeah.
Out there.
Well, we didn't have our in-person support group. Like our group, the National MS Society here in Michigan, they put out a bulletin for all group members to not meet in the month of March. And
Okay.
now they've postponed all the walks. So we're not walking, good heavens, that's for like several months. So we didn't have an in-person group. And that's why this online support group is so fantastic. Just we have people to talk to.
Yeah, I see a lot of terms like isolated, not disconnected, or alone together. Like different terms like that, I think are really, really cool because even though we are separate, we still have these ways nowadays to stay connected, which is very important.
Yeah, and it just lets you know kind of that it's not just a Michigan thing or it's not exclusively in Iowa. Just so you can see all over the country, we're all kind of concerned about this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping to get down to DC next year. So for the action, I know you guys were down there, but
yeah, and that's hard to believe that we were in Washington DC like 3 weeks ago today. And we were joking. We're up at public policy conference and we're seeing each other and we're hugging and we're like, oh, this COVID-19 isn't that big of a deal. And now 3 weeks later, all hell's breaking loose. And you're like, oh yeah, this is kind of a big deal.
But you never expected it to get this big. I think it was, yeah, we came back from that and we actually, for the MS Foundation, they had their like I'm Visible campaign and they had like online things, but they also had like in-person events and stuff. And we actually were supposed to speak out at the event it was in Long Island the end of the month. And we we're just like, a couple other people had backed out of like presentations in Georgia and whatever. And we're just like, do we want to back out? Do we want to back out? And I was like, just give it a week to see what happens. Like within 2 days, then they pretty well canceled all of their events because of this. And it's just like, yeah, just like I think it was you, Gail, just the difference of 2 weeks and just like where we are right now. And then hopefully we can say in 2 weeks, just say, oh gosh, and we're almost out of the woods. Remember what it was like 2 weeks ago when we didn't know what the hell was going on? So, wow. Again, if only we could go back to when all we had to worry about was multiple sclerosis.
Right.
And I don't know if I'm the only one, but when they're saying like possible symptoms of the coronavirus, they're like, well, if you're achy or if you're fatigued and I'm like, a lot of those symptoms sound awfully similar to what day-to-day life with multiple sclerosis is like. It's sad that you understand.
Just like, yeah, how would you know? I'm just like, oh, I'm always tired.
Yeah.
So.
And it's in season with, just regular seasonal allergies too. Like I have friends calling me and they're like, my eyes are itchy and my throat's scratchy. And it's like, look outside.
Right.
It's really hard to tell.
It is.
Yeah, everybody's just kind of in a state of panic. I don't know about you guys, but I've had a couple of panic attacks this week, just above and beyond like regular anxiety. And I've gotten into a really bad habit this week of like I have, whoop, I muted myself on accident. I can't go to bed before like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't really know why. Like, I don't know if it's just because I'm out of routine with everything right now, or if it's just, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you don't go to bed before 1:15 or 1 in the morning?
And yeah. But I know as we get further along in the week and I don't have a routine, like it's just gonna get later. And I'm just gonna become an insomniac again, and I really don't want to do that.
No.
We always, it's like every morning we swear to each other, we're going to bed early tonight. We're going to go to bed early. And then just like, 10 o'clock comes and let me check my Facebook one more time. Well, that opens up a can of worms and it's like 12:30. You're just like, yeah, but 15 people liked my post. But it is. I think that's the downside of working remotely. And we're in Michigan, but it was Central Time, and so I don't have to get up till a little later. So then you just keep pushing it and pushing it, and it's like I don't keep track anymore. And I think it is just with so much with the news, and that's the downside of with social media. Just throughout the day, you're working, but then God forbid you check Twitter or get news updates, and it's exhausting just to see the developments and this everything.
Well, I think so. I started using Marco Polo again with like my family this week because I can like check in with people during the day, but you're not like texting everybody. It's a lot easier for my mom to use Marco Polo than texting most of the time. So, yeah, I like today I just tried leaving the TV off all day because I think that's a lot of it is just being anxious all day and then not having anybody to communicate with at night. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been like, in a way, completely opposite of everything. Like, I love social distancing. I love that we're shutting everything down. The same thing, I am not freaked about getting it at all. I'm totally cool with it. And I'm one of the crazy people, and this is my scientist part of me, that if they said, hey, we want volunteers to test the vaccine, I say, if you cancel my student loans, you don't ding me on my taxes, and you pay for all the medical issues that I have for the after effects if I survive, give me the vaccine. I will volunteer within a heartbeat. Not a problem. But I'm also very, very comfortable with death. I don't have an issue with death. I'm like, oh, that doesn't bother me at all. And I think that in a way gives me lots of peace. That makes any sense. I might sound like a little crazy over here.
I have zero comfortableness with death at all. So yeah, I'm like 180
Yeah.
degrees.
So yeah, I'm totally opposite. I'm just like, yo, my quality of life last 4 years completely different. I'm totally, and I don't have any kids. So if something happens to me, no one, I went from being the breadwinner to the crumb winner. So it's like, yeah, people will miss me, but in the grand scheme of things, losing me as a society as a whole is not a big hit. So I'm okay with that. So I don't know. I didn't found a lot of people like in my boat that think like me, so I just find it interesting.
I just want, yeah, because I'm just like, death. I guess now we're getting all like philosophical and so like the thought of death doesn't scare me. It's how I go is what freaks the hell out of me. So.
Well, good.
Yeah,
I didn't
let me take a
sleep anyway. Thanks, guys.
let me take a step and it's over. And get it done, get it over with. Doesn't
I've
bother
lost,
me.
yeah. In the last couple years, I've lost like my grandma, my father-in-law. I've lost like 4 people in June last year. I lost a good friend in January. I lost like 5 dogs and a cat. Like in the span of like 2.5 years, I've had all this death. So I'm just like, yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But I have had some very interesting conversations and meeting people I actually had, and this sounds very morbid. You have to understand, working in healthcare, you get like a morbid sense of humor too. So forgive me, but I actually was like, and I call my death book group, where we had this great book about end of life and it was such a fantastic book club for that 8 weeks, 8 sessions we had and stuff. And I hope to volunteer. They have to wait 13 months, but I hope to volunteer in hospice care later this year, and when they lift the things up and stuff, because I feel like I could totally do that. It would be like my shtick, my thing. But it's just it's very interesting, because it's like some people are like me, totally comfortable, talk about it, and there are people like, like my parents, they self-quarantine themselves March 11th. Like, boom, the door is shut, you can't enter the house, you want to drop something off, you leave it on the hood of their car, and they'll keep it out there for a week or two or something, So it's just so interesting how everyone reacts to everything. But I also, I worked in healthcare, and, and I'm hoping that they'll change a bunch of stuff that they didn't have. So, like, for example, we've had so many problems with drugs on back order the last 5 years, and we have farmed out all our drugs mostly to overseas. And now hopefully they'll figure out, like, okay, we can't do that. We need to be making some necessity drugs in-house. Same thing with certain medical supplies, when you start making some of those stuff in-house in the US. So hopefully they'll get their thing together, and hopefully hospitals and stuff after the fact going, maybe we should have a stockpile of these masks and certain things. So I'm hoping good things will come out to it. But you've seen like the ugly stuff happen, and you see like these amazing, beautiful humanity things that come out of it. So it's been interesting. Like, one of the crazy things my neighborhood's done is, I don't know what book it is, children's book with teddy bears. Like, we're all sticking teddy bears in the windows, so the kids, when they go on walks, they look for the bears, and really fun, cool things to to
Our,
still.
our community did that last night, as a matter of fact. And we had people, now there are only 3,000 people in this town, so it's not like it's a metropolis. And people were driving around, how many bears could you count and how many windows in our community? The most I heard was 400.
400?
400 bears in people's windows in this little town.
We did
And
rainbows.
Saturday night, we're going to have a dragging mane festival where everybody's just going to go out and drag mane. I mean, we did this 50 years ago. That was the thing to do in our little town. So now we're all going to go back and do it again Saturday night. And, everybody in their own car, social distancing, what can you say? And everybody's just going to wave and honk at each other and drive on. And we're going to do a food drop. We're going to have a food drop in one place where everybody can drop food for the food bank.
Very cool.
I have a question. So I took a little walk this morning, and there were red bows in our neighborhood. Is there something going on with red bows and coronavirus? Do you know, or is that just our neighborhood?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Haven't heard that.
That might be
Yeah, nothing here.
like, Facebook page or something for the area. That's how, like, in our neighborhood, they were doing this week is dinosaurs. Is the kids, they put dinosaur pictures up in the window, and last week it was the rainbows, and then there's something before that. So it's probably just something local.
I love the teddy bear idea. That is really sweet. That's neat.
It's been really fun. I enjoy looking at them and finding them.
For the kids, for him, this is a very strange time. It's strange for all of us, but especially for them to get it. Helps.
Yeah, like Kim said, I think it's really cool though that, like, you see a lot of bad stuff and a lot of even, who knows what's true on the internet anymore, right? But you see a lot of all this bad stuff, but if you look for it, you actually do see just as much good stuff that's out there before. So I think it's really, really cool. Like just hearing these stories, with the teddy bears or the red bows, or, just the communities coming together, to support each other is, is probably what the news should be focusing on, if you ask me. But
I wish the news would go back to, and this is aging me a little bit, but I wish the news would go back to just like giving you the news. Don't editorialize it. Don't sensationalize it. Just give me the facts. If I want your opinion, I'll go to the opinion section, you know? That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Yeah, who, what, when, where, who, what, when, where, how, and
Yeah.
not necessarily even why.
Yeah.
Give me this unbiased news as much as possible, please.
Well, I always tell Jennifer, because I went to college to be a journalist. I did reporting. I did that. And I'm like, the amount of times that, you know, the reporters and things, and they put in their personal, you know, whatever side of the political spectrum, but just they put their political spin on it. It's just like, or they, like you say, Kim, they editorialize or they comment. It's like, that's not for you to give your perspective. You just need to report the news as it's there. And so it is just, I don't know, I think that's where things get annoying, because it's like, just, yeah, like you say, the who, what, where, when, why, and how. But then that's it.
yeah, it seems like everybody wants to argue, right? It's like,
and they desensationalize it. None of this sensationalizing stuff anymore. They freak people out all the time.
Well, and I wonder if the availability of news, like if I wanted to turn on the TV right now, I would put money down that I would find a channel that would say breaking now or breaking news, and everything is so urgent. It's like, I just feel that they sensationalize it, and that kind of freaks you out. Like, how many times can you hear breaking news in a day where you're like, the same stuff you told me an hour ago, but now it has a new tiny little spin and it's breaking news.
And you'll hear that story as breaking news for the next day and a half.
Yeah.
That's the thing I notice, is it goes on and on and on and on. You know, tell me what's happening and shut up. You know, I mean, it's just like, I don't need to know what happened 3 days ago.
No.
You know?
Well, even yeah, like Dan's he is a huge Tom Brady fan. And when Tom Brady didn't re-sign or whatever with the Patriots, I felt for Dan, because there was just a crawl across the screen, across TV for like hours, and I'm just like, all they're doing is just like rubbing Dan's nose in it, just like
Tom Brady to leave Patriots, and I was like,
and just over and over again. And that's kind of like the news, where they just keep reminding you over and over. It's like you can't get a break. So.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah.
I understood.
Well, I mean, I have the sweetest picture of Dan just like sitting in his Patriot sweatshirt with just a sad look on his face, just like all brokenhearted. And it's only kind of amusing to people who just know how brokenhearted Dan is, but that he'll survive. But just that day, like, gave some levity to just the situation going on.
Well, it's just, it is just the sensationalizing of things, but yeah,
yeah. I don't know. Back to multiple sclerosis.
Back to MS.
Hey, on a side note, does anybody else touch their face a lot more than they realize they did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I can't be the only one, right?
I'm always touching my face.
I've only been at home though, so I don't really care anymore.
I figure if I'm at my house and I've already washed my hands, I'm probably doing okay. Now, as soon as I come back inside from being outside or running air, I'm decontaminating my phone. I'm taking that Clorox wipe, going to all my doorknobs, handles, refrigerator, light switches and everything. But you can't, I don't know, you only can do so much, you can't live in like a class 100 or 200 environment. I can't live in this ultra pure, but I'll do the best I can. And soap and water is fantastic for killing the virus. I mean, people are always like, oh, I need this, really high, do this. It's like, no, soap and water is fantastic. Works fantastic. Don't worry about going crazy.
Somebody, I don't know if I read it or I was watching somebody, but like they were, as soon as they brought all their groceries inside, they were like disinfecting their groceries, and I'm like, wow, just wash your hands. Like that seems like a little bit overkill.
Well, it does make sense in a way because
like the
that stuff,
like not fruits and vegetables, just like boxes. They were disinfecting the boxes.
Right, and they are right in a way because the stuff can, be on that surface for so many hours or days. I think cardboard's only 24 hours, but other things it could be longer. So technically, if they're going to be, but if you're smart and you wash your hands and then you don't touch your face while you're eating, they should be okay.
We should probably preface all of this with none of us are doctors.
None of us are doctors.
In any way, don't take our advice.
Okay, we haven't. Yeah. So, yeah, we just got booted for a second, but we're back.
Okay, welcome back.
Okay.
I have a question to you all. Have any of you guys gone to physical therapy for MS?
Yes.
Yes.
I have.
Okay. And what is your experience?
It didn't do a darn thing for me.
Okay.
It was hopefully to get that stuff out of my hip, but I still limp around. So, I just let it go. The doctor wasn't sure if it was going to help or not. So,
okay.
It's always worth a try. If insurance will pay for it. There's no harm in trying because it's not invasive or anything.
Mine was pelvic floor therapy, and it was helpful.
And it was, okay.
I think I had mine right after I got diagnosed, because I was having issues with my leg, but it was just a flare-up. So by the time
I got more out of electrostimulation, am I right?
Actually got into physical therapy, all of my functioning was back. So I'm sure it would have been useful, but not at the time.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, and Allison, I have had physical therapy a number of times, and Dan and I live really close to a university, to Central Michigan University, and the physical therapy students, bless their hearts, they are very intrigued by our cases, and they do physical therapy I have 2 physical therapists while students were still in classes. They would come over to my house once a week to work with me in different exercises and things like that. So I have really good experiences with PT.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
What kind
I've
of
had no physical therapy, so I can't give you an opinion.
Allison, what kind of physical therapy do you hope to do?
I am not 100% sure yet. I'm thinking just outpatient, but I don't know. I have a I'm supposed to have a neuro rotation this next year, so I'll probably be working with some MS patients. So I was just kind of curious to kind of get your guys's experiences and kind of see how you guys felt about it. So.
And you will find that neuro patients will become your favorite.
Yeah.
We're super fun to work with because you can do like so many different exercises, and it's never the same thing 2 days in a row. It's not like ortho or, it's always something new with us. The exciting part about the disease, if there is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just say in general, MS patients are the best patients overall in any category, you know. Whether we're at the ones getting the infusions, we are the ones rocking it the most. I think we're everyone's favorites, to be honest.
These pictures, Kim. So LuAn,
Yes.
I'm sorry, we got booted. Did you
Yes.
have you been here like this for a while?
You mean today or from before? Because it took me like 35 minutes to figure out how to get in here.
Okay, have you been here for a while?
Well, I've been here for probably about 15 minutes now.
Do you wanna did you
Did I want to?
Well,
introduce
I was going to say
yourself?
we can go
or-
around again.
Oh, well, I'm LuAn. That's my name. And I live in Oklahoma, and I've been diagnosed with MS since 2014, where he said I had it for about 20 years by the time I got found. So what else do we need to know? Oh, I'm on Capaxa still.
Okay.
Well, generic now, and so it seems to be working, I guess.
Okay. Wow.
Very cool. Well, welcome to the group. This is
Oh,
awesome.
thanks. Randy knows me actually because I pester in his messed up MS group every week. I'm the heckler.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where else? I mean, because I always say, I mean, because I have all kinds of things we can talk about, but it's like this is your groups and stuff. So, I mean, you say I'm going to do the AnCan group because I want to ask questions about this. I would ask about what Brady's success rate will be with the Buccaneers, but I don't think this is the right group to talk about that. So, but no, I mean, what, I mean, we talked about the coronavirus. I mean, what's weighing on your head saying, gosh, I want to talk to people with MS because they'll understand it?
I
Are
have
you
a
asking me? Oh, okay.
Free
In
for all.
general. Okay.
Yeah.
Have any of you experienced what's called the MS hug?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So what does that look like or feel like? Not look like, but what does it feel like for you all?
Well, it's just a tightness. I've had it around my waist. I've had it across my chest. And that's a little scary. But it's just a pressure.
Yeah,
Does it hurt? I mean, because I always wonder, because like I always feel like at night, I just get like the numbness and tightness in my, my stomach and everything. Or is that just like you're just from being tired, or is that a bona fide hug? So people I talked to or read and stuff giving reports, it sounds like it's just horrendous.
It had me going to the emergency room one time because I thought I was having a heart attack.
Wow.
I mean, it was that painful, and I didn't know what to think. And it was up around across my chest, and I just knew I was having a heart attack. It proved that nothing was wrong. They couldn't find a thing. Did all the tests, and all they could come up with is it was a MS hug.
Yep, same thing here. I went to my doctor and he's like, nope, you just have intercostal muscle spasms. You're going to be fine. So yeah, and it does. It just vice grips in my chest is what it does. And it'll just like pulse. And it's really painful. And I'll end up rubbing in between the sternum bones and bruising my body because I'm rubbing so hard thinking I'm going to massage that pain out. So.
Wow.
Is it constant for you all?
Oh, it can last a while for me.
Not for me though.
Because I have a lot of spinal damage, and that's what's causing it for me.
For me, I just experienced like that tightness again at my chest. Actually started right when my symptoms first started back in 2012, and it maybe lasted for a couple hours for me, and I haven't experienced that since. But
Yeah, mine's been a long time too, but I get them usually like around my waist, or a little lower around my like hips or something. But yeah, it lasted for a couple hours. I don't think it was like an all day or multiple day kind of a thing.
Yeah, I can have
But
multiple
yeah,
days.
yeah, that could be scary.
Mine is constant. It's like
Yeah.
somebody taking their hand and pushing it against my like lower right quadrant, lower rib area. And it's of late, it's gotten more and more painful, but it's always there. And it's been there since I first started having MS symptoms back in 2017. So I was just curious, does y'all's wax and wane, or is it constant? So sounds like it waxes and wanes more.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the neurologist gave me baclofen, but I don't like to take it because I can't drive. So, and it will take the edge off. If I get really bad with it, I'll take a day or two worth of dosing and it'll just knock it out that way, but it comes right back. So, not a fan of baclofen, that's for sure.
And I'm sitting here, LuAn. You don't see on screen, or I don't think you do. But
I hope
Dan,
you guys can't see me because I look like the devil.
okay, well I'm on screen and I'm a hot mess. But anyway, Dan slipped a baclofen in my mouth about maybe 15 minutes ago. So
I saw that.
okay, yeah, that was my baclofen.
So at the recorded video, when look for the 9:15 mark and see Dan Digman slip the back.
I think I managed to log in right when that happened. I saw it.
I take baclofen every 3 hours, and it doesn't, it's just like multiple sclerosis. It treats everybody differently because I remember Dan tried to take baclofen and it was just not a good combination. So.
I just get loopy. I mean, I can't drive. I mean, I feel good, but I can't drive. And so it's like, I can't do that because I have to drive.
Okay.
So I was like, that's what I told him. I was like, well, you wrote as needed on there, so I take it as needed, and I haven't needed it for a while. He's like, okay.
And just like particularly, do you take it for the MS hug, or do you have like spasticity, or?
I have spasticity in my left leg and hip. So.
Okay.
But it for the MS hug, yes, it's for all of that. It'll work. I just said I can't take it because I have to drive with my job.
Okay.
Is that similar to gabapentin, that bacitracin or whatever y'all are describing?
Gabapentin is.
That's
Neurontin.
Gabapentin, that's like Neurontin, and that's my drug of choice at night. So.
That's what I thought.
But
yeah, because I like freaked out because Dr. Braley had prescribed it because I have like restless leg syndrome and it's at night, and I just like I kick my legs and stuff, and well, okay, I'm not an aggressive drug refiller because I had like a 3-month supply of the gabapentin, and I was like I had 2 left. And I'm like, okay, I'll just refill it and get it at Rite Aid. I go to pick it up, and because it's like they say it's a controlled substance, then because it had been like 6 months since I had refilled, they had gotten the prescription, they had to have my neurologist do it again. So I was like without Neurontin for a couple nights, or the gabapentin. And I totally noticed because I was not sleeping at all. And thereby then Jennifer wasn't sleeping either. But no, I have that for the restless leg. I don't know what else. Frank, you were shaking your head. Why is it? Do you take like Neurontin?
I've done the same thing. I did the gabapentin for the restless leg, and I would double up on it at night.
Really?
And it would put me to sleep. So I'd sleep like a baby, and my restless leg wasn't. My restless leg was out too. And the doctor thought, well, it's not hurting you. So when I was way below the maximum, I was taking 600 milligrams at night rather than just 3. And I guess you can go up to about 3,000 milligrams and not be taking too much. So he didn't think it was a problem at all. But I know, I agree. It was my drug of choice.
I mean, that's the one thing, because and it helps me sleep. And it's like you get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you go back to bed, and you're just like right back out. It's
Sorry to interrupt, but I see that we had another person join us, an M. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Michelle. I just came across a link for this a couple hours ago, and I'd never done it before, so I thought I'd peek in and see what it was. What it was. Hello.
Hi, Michelle.
well, then where see, so now it's just like we put you on the spot and everything. Where are you from, Michelle, and how long have you had MS?
I'm in the Pacific Northwest now. I'm from South Florida, but I've lived on the West Coast a long time, and I actually don't have a definitive diagnosis of MS yet. All of my test results have been borderline, and so I go back in, for yearly MRIs. But my symptoms seem to map pretty perfectly to everything related to MS. So, yeah.
And is that like frustrating for you? I'm just
Go ahead.
Oh no, I just like for me, and I think for Jennifer, it's just like, it was the unknowns, and it's almost like, when you get the formal diagnosis, there was for me, like a sense of relief, to at least say, okay, now I know what it is. I can start attacking it, or, wage a war against it as it's been attacking me for so long.
Absolutely. Yeah. The not, the uncertainty, and even though I feel pretty confident that's what it is, or something in that constellation, I have a new neurologist, and I guess she wants to start from scratch, but she seems to be dismissing my observations about MS, and saying, well, we'll see what we see. But yeah, it's very frustrating because I can't pursue any particular treatment. Yeah, even talking with other people, there is some community like here, for a condition that people have in common. But I don't necessarily feel comfortable owning that because it's not definitive. So yeah, so it kind of leaves me hanging. Absolutely.
Wow.
When will you see your neurologist next? Or is this your neurologist, or is that where you're totally up in the limbo where you don't have a neurologist?
No, I have a new neurologist. I just moved to my current place about a year ago, and I've already gone through one round of MRIs with her. But I canceled all of my non-urgent medical appointments because of COVID-19. So it's kind of put a pause on anything diagnostic right now.
Okay. Are you feeling okay right now, or any of the symptoms that led you to the neurologist in the first place? Are they giving you trouble?
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a bit of a flare lately. I overdid it a few weeks ago, and I've had weakness, and I think of it as like an electrical problem, like when it first started, the thing that to me seems to make it different than fibromyalgia, for example, is my when I was walking, my leg from the knee down, my left leg, when I went to take a step, it didn't do it in the way that I guess I thought my brain told it to. And so I would kind of stumble a little. I don't think it's exactly foot drop, but it was like there was some electrical disconnect below my knee. And even now I can't run or go fast because there's like a coordination that I can't, quite do anymore. But that and a lot of cognitive deficits, which have probably been worse than anything because I've gotten used to the physical stuff, which is frustrating, but the cognitive stuff really interferes with my whole sense of self. So
Wow. I'm thinking back. I mean, I was diagnosed so long ago, and I'm sure it's like this for everybody. I imagine, maybe not, but I had to just wait just to get a little worse. Like I had the numbness here, and then wait a little bit longer, and it'll present somewhere else, so that the doctor can put all the pieces together. So I certainly don't want you to get worse, but I kind of, you know what I mean? I want something to show up so that they can put all the pieces together to give you a diagnosis, because that limbo is just a horrible place to be.
yeah, I was actually thinking that the next time I talked to my neurologist, I was going to ask if she thought that there would be any diagnostic benefit to me intentionally overusing my body and creating, like exacerbating every symptom that I could, so she could see me the way I am when I'm at my worst. Because I had it managed pretty well for a long time. I would start to doubt myself because I'd feel pretty okay, but I also wasn't really doing anything. But I thought maybe if she actually saw like the spasticity and like difficulty with grip and some other things that maybe it would help her, because my anecdotal evidence didn't seem to mean much to her. She seemed to want something concrete in front of her. So
Have you had the SSEP test? Have they ordered that?
what is that?
It's a somatosensory evoked potential test.
I don't think so. I've had the brain and cervical MRIs and the spinal tap, which I had one band, and that may be it.
Michelle, when I went to a neurologist before, they only did like the cervical and the brain, and they looked at me like, "You're crazy, you don't have MS." And I went to the Mayo Clinic like, "Let's go ahead and check the thoracic." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, you have MS." So you might, if you're able to in insurance, you might want to have them do the full central nervous system.
Okay, I'm writing that down now. I have to write everything down or else it's just gone.
So it would be your entire brain and all your spinal cord, which would be your cervical, thoracic, lumbar. Thank you, lumbar. Yeah, you wouldn't. I don't think you need sacrum. That's too far south. But
I'm gonna try and share this in the group to the behind the scenes moderator. There was an article that AnCan just posted about cognitive dysfunction. Early signs that might be of interest to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it seems to get worse with fatigue or pain. But I've been having especially problems with aphasia, which drives me crazy. I'm a writer, and it drives me crazy not being able to find a word. And even just focus and, if something's important, I have to write it down immediately or else it's gone. And if it's really important, like a doctor's appointment that I can't, take notes fast enough, I might record it just because my brain feels like a sieve.
I totally understand that, Michelle, because that's been one of my biggest issues is cognitive issues.
I remember my first neurologist back in 2012. Like I woke up and I guess my symptoms started. I had numbness, like my lower back and my tailbone, that spread to like everywhere from the chest down, right? So I ended up going to the ER and stuff like that. So then I remember going to the neurologist, and he looked me right in the eyes, and he's like, there's nothing wrong with you. He's like, you're perfectly fine. It's anxiety. And I'm like, no, it's not. So again, it wasn't very long, but then I had, other symptoms that then all of a sudden it went from being all in my head to, hey, now it's MS. And I'm like, I told you something was wrong. Like, why didn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Did you guys all have to wait long for diagnosis from between when your symptoms started to when you got an answer?
15 years.
I had about 6 months, but I think I'm not on the normal end of things when it comes to diagnosis time.
Yeah, mine was only about 4 months or so.
Okay.
What was the question? About how long it took to get diagnosed?
Yeah.
48 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My primary sent me to the MRI, and I was immediately fast tracked to a neurologist, and he diagnosed me 48 hours after the MRI.
Wow. Had you been dealing with symptoms for a long time, LuAn?
Yeah, about 20 years. I was a runner, and I started falling on the trails, and I didn't know why. And I was always dizzy, and I just didn't know why. And I finally got my primary to listen to me, and that's when he sent me to the MRI. And yeah, it didn't take long after that. I got fast tracked. So,
Wow.
and then I got the confirming opinion at the MS Center here in Oklahoma City. I got that about 3 days shy from the 1 year mark of my anniversary date of the MS. So it's all a bit overwhelming, that's for sure. It was a very fast year.
Michelle, it took me 12 years because my onset of symptoms started in 2001, but then I had a big gap where I really didn't notice any changes until 2011 hit. So it took me about a year after I started hitting the symptoms to then I had to go back to the Mayo Clinic to get diagnosed because my local people were just like, it's all in your head. I'm like, it's not in my head.
Right. Wow.
Mine was about 2
Go ahead.
years.
I want you to notice too, like there is a chat bar in the function for this. So we did share the article that I was referring to earlier.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, there it is.
I have a question for Kim. So with there being such a big gap between when your symptoms started and when you were diagnosed, do you have the relapsing remitting kind of MS?
Yes. When I saw Mayo Clinic back in 2002. Anyway, 2002 is when I saw my appointment in January. And they're like, and it was somewhere between like a 10 to 15% chance of developing MS. You have 1 lesion in your brain. If you had 3 or more, we diagnose you. Okay, fine. This is your first time you have symptoms. I was almost to the 10-year mark. And boom, it came back with a vengeance and it didn't go away. So, yeah. It was the fatigue. I got the tip off when both the fatigue and the cognitive issues and the numbness hit. And I'm like, I have MS. I'm like, I was very, like I have it. And my mom's like, what did she say? She's like, go to Mayo. And I'm like, I have MS. She's like, go to Mayo. So I called my insurance company, make sure they covered Mayo. And then I called them back up. And then I got to see them a month later and got diagnosed. So. And no one argues with me. Like someone's like, "Are you sure? Who said you have MS?" I said Mayo Clinic. They don't go like, "Oh, well, they don't got," because some people are like, did you get diagnosed by someone who doesn't know what they're doing? Like, I'm Mayo Clinic. I'm just like, oh, okay, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a lot of
burning that
symptoms.
they wanted to make sure that we talked about tonight. Gail, did you have more questions, or Michelle?
It's been so interesting to hear people's stories. No, I got to ask my questions. Thank you.
What I think it's so interesting about MS is everyone's story is so different, and they also get so alike. I find that so fascinating.
It's so different. Yeah, but there's just the threads, and it's just like, the emotions that we all, go through or went through or been through or still living with. It's just because it's just like, I don't know specifically or don't have experience like stuff that Jennifer's gone through or is living with. but on the same level, I can relate because of, what this disease does to us or how it's come about or, yeah, it's just like, but I can totally understand, like, Michelle, where you're coming from, just like that, the unknown, the uncertainties. And I just like when I went to the doctor, when they said that the radiologist said that most likely I had MS, but then I had to wait like another 3 months before I went to the neurologist. And so you're just like sitting and waiting for 3 months. You're just saying, dude, I could be doing something for this. So yeah, it's just that. So I mean, reach out to us if you need help in the interim before you get that potential diagnosis, because maybe such thing as something else that they could treat. I had gone to the doctor to have them read tests just to make sure that after I was diagnosed with MS, just test my hands because my hands were numb and I type, I write. And so you're just like, maybe I had carpal tunnels. Maybe there's something they could do to treat the carpal tunnel. But unfortunately, it was just multiple sclerosis. So I'm pretty well stuck where I am. So
Just a little multiple.
just a little MS.
Just.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Sometimes a new doctor can actually make a big difference too, because I had an MRI that was taken a couple of years before, and neurologist number 4 looked at that and said, "What is that? What is that? I want you to have some more MRIs done." And those MRIs were what finally showed the lesions. So, it to us, it didn't look like a thing. And to the people reading the MRI, they didn't see it either. They didn't write it in their report. So sometimes a fresh pair of eyes can make a difference too.
And on that token, I think this applies to Allison as well. Like if you've had not the best experience with physical therapy, go back, find another physical therapist, because I really think, and Dan, he'll attest to it too, that PT can be so helpful. And if you go, I know he talked about the first time he went, he just got TheraBands and he was like, oh, if this is all it is, then this is nothing. But then he went back again and they really helped strengthen some muscles and they really honed in on what his problems were. So I think it's kind of like you were saying, Gail, with the doctors. Physical therapists, you need to find the right one that can help you. Yeah. So Carly, you're going to be awake until 1 tonight, right?
I'm going to try not to. I'm pretty fatigued today. I went on a run today. I am still running. Sorry, I'm like all over the place right now. Trying to find, I just closed out the screen and I can't see you guys anymore. I'm trying to do a, what's it called this year? I'm not tired, you're tired. I literally can't find where I had you guys. Anyway, no, I signed up for a half marathon this year, and I can't see anyone anymore. So that's that.
We're still here, Carly. We're still here.
No, I know you're still there. I just can't see anyone. But Rick was asking me to share a reminder, and this is what happened when I tried to find it. But Rick, if you can share that in the comments or just about like getting reminders for everybody.
No, I'll mention it. If you're not signed up for a reminder and you would like to get one, you can go to AnCan.org. That's Alpha Nancy Charlie Alpha Nancy, AnCan.org, and you can sign up for the MS group there, and then we'll send you a reminder before each group. Or you can put your email in the chat window, or you can send the email to info@ancan.org. I'll put that in the chat window, the second part. But we'd like, especially the new folks, we'd like to be able to let you know before the next meeting so we can remind you, LuAn and Michelle, and I'm not sure if Gail is in or not in, I can't remember.
I am. I did.
You are, okay, good, all right.
Thank you.
Oh, and oh, wait a minute, and I'm looking for a name here. I'm struggling over a name. Randy. Randy, I'm not sure. I don't think you're in. So if you'd like the reminder, send us your email.
Okay. All right. I've been getting the tweets from the AnCan account. So.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Well, I'll keep tweeting. But we actually send out a little reminder notice, and with the joining instructions, it might be easier for LuAn. I was sort of concerned, LuAn, that it took you a while to figure out how to get on. I'm so sorry. I know we did something wrong, or help us.
That's okay. Randy was helping me out because I was tweeting back into his account. And he's like, do this, do that. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I got there.
It should be
because I reminded him this was happening tonight. So.
Oh, right. Well, there was so much Twitter activity. We thought we were going to have about 50 people talking. We were worried what we were going to do. All you MSers, you tweeted each other, and then it's all tweet, no action.
We like to tweet a lot.
Yeah. You tweet the tweet, but you don't walk the walk. Well, you do. Randy and LuAn do, but it's all the rest of them, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, just give them time. They have to figure out how to get in here.
That's right.
I think part of it is they don't realize they have to download the app of GoTo. What is this, meeting?
Yeah.
GoTo meeting. And I thought I had it, but I had GoTo webinar. I was like, oops.
Yeah, I think the first time you come on, you probably do have to download. I mean, I've been using it so long, I don't even think about.
I think I have it on my main computer, but I didn't have it on my iPad. So that put me behind.
We could put that into like the reminders too when they go out, if it's your first time or something, just to give them a few extra minutes to download.
I will try to remember. I'll try to remember to do that, and I'm just going to put where to send your email if you want, but go check out our website. We do, we put that MS post. We made an MS post in the blog, and if anybody would like to use our AnCan blog to send something out, I don't normally say that because I don't want to step on the toes of the Digmans because they have such a wonderful blog. But if anybody would like to use our blog, or if the Digmans would like to reblog anything on our blog, you are very, very welcome to do so.
And if you're late, we all have multiple sclerosis, we'll understand. And if a few minutes to download something. I feel like lateness just comes with the disease. We are always late. And please nod your head so I don't feel like it's just Dan and I. But you all kind of get it. It just takes so much longer to do everything than it did like when
20 some years ago.
Yeah, it could just be age, but I think it's got a little something to do with the MS.
I think so.
Yeah.
Just put it on the MS.
It can take it. It can totally take it.
I remember when I used to be able to get up in the morning, shower, shave, drink a cup of coffee, and be out the door in 30 minutes. Now I can't even get in the shower in 30 minutes.
Oh, no.
Thank you, Frank. You feel it.
And be at work by 8.
Ouch. Yeah, no.
You guys were talking about gabapentin earlier on, and that's a drug that I've had to take at one point, but it's also used a lot for people that have neuropathy, especially after chemotherapy. And it did absolutely nothing when I used it, when I needed it. way back when. More recently, I've been getting a lot of nerve pain from some wounds that are healing very slowly, and it has worked. I must say, it's worked a lot better for that. Some of our guys on chemo love it, who have neuropathy, and others find that it just doesn't work at all. So it's like with most drugs, it's different with every person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gabapentin was offered to me and I declined it. So every time he offers me a new medication, he's like, but I don't think you're probably going to take it. And as he's writing out the prescription. So, yeah, I'm a terrible patient.
Yeah, I mean,
The only thing I'm consistent with is Copaxone. So.
I will say this though, LuAn, that I don't think there are too many significant side effects from it. I cannot remember, and I've been moderating different groups for years. I can't remember too many issues around gabapentin. So
I didn't have it until I went off of it.
But
I don't know if anybody's trying to come off of gabapentin. That's pretty rough.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't even taking that much, but it has, I think it was 6 weeks to withdraw from it.
I tried gabapentin and I was on a low dose and it made me hit the floor. It was just like I was out, so I had to take it because I was just asleep. So.
Wow.
And that was like immediate. It was like Benadryl doesn't affect me, but it was like someone gave me like a mega dose of Benadryl. And so they're like, nope, that's not for you.
I have my notes up from class, and for gabapentin, the adverse drug reactions were ataxia, dizziness, sedation, fatigue, and emotional lability. And something that my professor had kind of spoke about was that it does take 4 to 5 weeks for the gabapentin to actually work, but you're still having those side effects. So
that's interesting.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, dizziness is with every medication. It's always listed. This medication, dizziness.
Right.
This one, dizziness. So, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
When I started taking gabapentin, I don't think I noticed that it was helping much until I got off of it. And then my symptoms became a lot more apparent. And I realized, oh, yeah, I guess it was quelling this time. But I didn't know it when I was taking the gabapentin. I couldn't see it.
Who's chatting?
Yeah.
Oh, it must have been Frank. He muted himself. I was enjoying it.
That's my mother's clock. That's my mother's clock.
Oh, is that? Oh, wow.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm just trying to mute out the sound from the TV down the hallway. My husband is blaring.
Anything else? Because see, and this is where I'm bad because I'm thinking, the gabapentin and stuff, and I'm just like thinking, are the rest of you like freaked out? It's not that I'm not afraid to take new drugs. You read the side effects, and sometimes the side effects scare me off from even trying them. And so I think the gabapentin, when I first got it, you're just like thinking, well, will it be knock me out like Kim? And that's why I'll try it once and everything. And that's where I'm a bad patient and don't follow my direction. But I'm always thinking, okay, but will I be able to still drink beer if I take the drug? And so for me, and obviously drug affects everyone differently and stuff, but I still can drink beer with gabapentin. So from my experience, it still works. So
Priorities.
There you go. That's the criteria.
So is anyone, anything else? Because this is awesome. 90 minutes in. Does anybody else have anything? Because when's our next meeting? What's the date on this?
The next meeting will be the hold on a second. April, the 4th Tuesday in April is the 28th.
April 28th. Yeah. So have
And then we'll be
anything
done with
else?
this COVID thing.
You have to wait. And yeah, wouldn't that be awesome if like next month all we can do is talk about the coronavirus and how awesome we were that we all got over it?
Well, the 28th was the day I was supposed to be going over to Europe, but that got canceled.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
I will
I haven't
say
canceled the flight yet.
if you decide you want to add a meeting because of the virus, because you want to socially undistance a little more, I'm sure we can find a slot for you. I don't know what time, but we can probably work something out. So just let me know. But I'm leaving that 100% up to the three moderators if they want to do it or they don't want to do
Okay. Thank you.
I love that idea, though.
it.
Be like, look, it's 6 weeks in. I'm going nuts. I need someone to talk to.
Hey, Kim, you're like me. I'm really a bit of a hermit. I live in the middle of nowhere, and I don't see a lot of people anyway. So this is an easy way to socialize without getting too involved, right?
I don't know.
Well,
For me,
just, I'm happy if we can find a time slot that works with you, and you want to add a time at a meeting at a different time. Just be in touch with me, and we'll try and do it. But I'll leave it up to the group to decide if they want to do it. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing. We are starting 2 new groups in April, just in case you know anybody that could benefit from them. One is for blood cancers, and that's all blood. Initially, it's going to be all blood cancers, whether it's multiple myeloma, CLL, leukemia, lymphoma. We're doing a single meeting, and then depending on its success, we may break out the blood cancers along the way. And the other is for ovarian cancer. So if you do know anybody that is living with either of those situations, send them to AnCan.org and have them sign up, and then they'll get a reminder, and they're very welcome to join the meetings. And they'll be peer-led just like this, and we actually have some good partners in those groups.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you all for coming out tonight. This has been great to see everybody again, and meet so many new people. Randy, it's great to finally like meet you face to face. I mean, we're a lot of
I know, right? I'm glad I was able to stop in.
absolutely.
Thanks, Randy.
And thanks for all the help that you've been giving us on Twitter as well. We appreciate it.
Sure.
What's your Twitter thing, Randy? I didn't know that you were like some superstar I just met today.
He is a star.
I didn't know.
Oh, stop. It's the handle's must stop MS.
Oh,
that's
you're
easy
the
enough.
Randy.
Is that?
You're the Randy.
You're the Randy.
I guess
didn't
I am.
realize
I don't know.
And so tell us. I mean, and tell us about Must Stop MS and when do you all meet and when?
So, well, the Must Stop MS was created shortly after diagnosis as a way to kind of bring people together, right? And just it started on Facebook, right? My Facebook page, just to provide like updated research information and things like that, just because there's a lot of like false information out there, and the internet can be a scary place. But here recently, well, 5 years ago, I say recently, we just hit our 5-year mark. But every Monday night on Twitter and Facebook and even Instagram, we do a chat called Chat MS. So it's hashtag Chat MS. So from 7 to 8 Eastern time, we'll do a different topic every Monday night, and we'll just answer 7 to 8 questions or so. Everybody kind of shares their experiences, and it's just a way to bring the community together, similar to what we're doing here. So just seeing all the different ways that the community can come together now is really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that's a great resource for people. So 5 years, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I was newly diagnosed when he started that, and it saved my life. I really did, because I just felt so alone out there. And then all of a sudden I saw this Chat MS on Twitter, and I was like, yes, I can get involved with these people.
Oh, I just put two and two together. Is LuAn, are you Pause?
Yes, that's me. I'm Pause.
I'm Words by MJ.
Yes,
That's funny.
I'm also known as Pause.
Yeah. Okay.
Pause
You
the
all
beast.
need to put your Twitter
Pause the beast,
handle
that's
in the
right.
comments so I can follow you.
I'll do that next time. I'll change my login somehow.
Whatever.
We'll put it in the little
Yeah, there's a chat bar on the side.
In the
yeah,
chat
put it
box.
in the chat bar. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta.
So,
What? Oh, I'm reaching for my computer. Wrong one.
it's so.
You want my Twitter handle?
Yeah, your Twitter handle.
Oh.
I just got on Twitter in January for political reasons, so I am not.
That's
I
okay.
am,
A lot of people do. I tried to
So
stay.
I just want to say that one of the wonderful things about these virtual groups is that you actually get to meet people that you've been talking to and communicating with years and
Right.
years. They take on a whole nother dimension when you hear a voice or you see a face or what have you. And I love it. So it's great that, I mean, you know, the Twitter chats are great, and the Facebook is great, and the health forums are great. But I just think there's nothing like actually seeing somebody and talking to them. That's why we like doing what we're doing here. So anyway, welcome everybody. We hope you all come back and tell your friends and figure out the people that you want to see and hear, and tell them to join you on the on our virtual support group.
Very good.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you all, and stay
Thank you.
well, stay safe and isolated and secluded and everything, but just stay coronavirus free is
Agreed. Yeah, be careful everybody, and be well. Good night.
all right.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.